Again, I have not introduced myself. My name is Brenda Kiptui. I am a social media manager here at the Cube Hub, and I'll be taking you through this session regarding AI and any concerns, ethical concerns that we have about AI. So I'd let Laryx introduce yourself again, if you had introduced yourself before, but introduce yourself now for this session.
For this session. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Brenda. That is well put. Great. So Laryx wears many hats. You knew me as Startup Grind, but as Brenda has put me on board, Laryx is the founder, the Nunomol Hub. That name, New Normal, is pronounced in English, New Normal. Then I decided to Swahilify as NU Normal, weirdly.
Okay.
Yes, and the reason behind it is just in the world of AI, how can we make it the new normal for everyone to interact with it in the easiest way possible? Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Larry. And now I would love to pose a question to you. Which concerns do you have? Which ethical concerns about AI have you heard of, or do you have yourself?
Myself. Yes,
Yes.
thank you for that question because I like most of the speakers who went before me kind of touched on it. The biases that are in AI, where it comes, it could pick, instead of choosing a black person, it chooses a white person. So the ethical concerns would be when it comes to the data that is being fed, me who is feeding it. This data is dependent on what I believe or what I want you to be able to see. So if I'm biased towards women, okay, let's say I'm an employer. So, and I don't, or okay, let me put it the other way around, because I'm a guy. If I favor only women between a certain age bracket, I'll make sure that every application, every employee who comes in would fall within this bracket. So you see, that is an unfair move. You who is applying, maybe you won't be able to see that, but that's something that I can go as far as I can go, you know. It will affect many, it will be unfair to so many, and that's unethical, so to speak, but that's just a small example. You can imagine if this was being done when it comes to critical things like medication or any other area. So you see,
Yeah.
yeah, the magnitude, exactly.
Yes. So now, for the bias concern, how can now the developers, or as they are building this AI, how can they reduce this bias?
Okay, the biases can be reduced by always, I like this thing of open source. Open source makes sure that there are so many people who are looking into whatever you're building and also comparing it with the standards, okay? Of course, there are set standards for how to, it's just like if you have a house, you don't give your keys to everybody else, okay? Your neighbor can't just walk in anytime. And even if they do, maybe someone might see them go in. So for the best way to take care of these biases and make sure ethical values are being followed is having gatekeepers, those who have the standards, and having standards that people are supposed to follow. Yes.
Okay. As we are continuing, I'd like anyone who has joined, if you have any questions, any concerns that you'd also love to be addressed, you can just type them, and then we'll be answering here. So there's one thing I would love to know, especially concerning now job displacement. I know many people have been talking about it. So like, can AI replace some jobs? You know, now AI can also design. I'm speaking for myself as a designer. Yes. So is there a concern there? Should we be concerned?
That's an interesting question. I mean, it cuts across the industries. My answer will be yes and no. Should I start with the yes or with the no?
Start with the
Guys,
yes.
I start with the yes.
Yes.
You're not being optimistic. Yes, it would replace a job that is repetitive. Oh, my tongue is late. I
Hey.
remember speaking a job that is done the same way every other time is
Mhm.
easily replaceable. Okay, let me be careful with my choice of words.
Yes.
Because, as Speaker Susan put it, the
Mhm.
AI now will see a pattern. The pattern is so easy to predict that it never
Mhm.
changes. So, if every day your work is just to open and close the door, open, close the door in the morning, in the evening, AI could be used to replace you. Okay, that's as simple as that. The no would be, she also gave an example of a job like mental health. Okay, so mental health, you need the human touch. Okay, so we can't completely do away with you. We'd
Yeah.
need maybe AI to add on to that. Now, let me just be fair to, I've gone the extremes. Now, the
Mhm.
areas where, let's say for you, you say you're in digital marketing, right?
Mhm.
Or social media
Yes,
management.
social media management.
Yes. So it wouldn't totally eliminate you, but
Yeah.
you yourself, you'd also have to keep up with how is AI moving in your
Mhm.
field so
In my
that you're not
field.
left behind.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Okay.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Any more questions or any concerns that you have? Kindly, you can just type them there, and then we'll be responding to that. Now, we talked about data, and I'm sure that's something that many people are actually concerned about. So,
Mhm.
how secure is our data? Because we feed AI, especially ChatGPT, the prompts there, we feed it too much personal information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how secure is our data?
Awesome. Thank you for that. I just see a chat there that AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. That's
Yes.
why I was telling you,
Mhm.
you also have to be at par with where is AI going, because this
Okay.
someone who Susan is mentioning, if they know it,
Mhm.
they'd replace you. Good. How safe is our data? Again, we have policing, data policies, we have standards that are put out there on how to secure your data. Okay? And these are standards that everyone should follow. So your data is as secure as it starts with, if I could use cloud computing as an example, they always say there are levels to where your data starts from, okay? So there's where the data security starts with you. How much data are you giving out there, okay? Are you giving knowingly or unknowingly? Now, there's a caveat because in technology, there is a way in which you could take your data without even you knowing. So generally speaking, your data is as safe as whom are you giving the data to? Is it a trusted person? Is it someone who is credible? Or is it a system that is well proven to secure your private data? Okay, you see things that coming out like when DeepSeek came out, the first thing was that, hey, this is a Chinese company. The first,
Mhm.
everybody was very skeptical about using it or giving it their data. But with time, after all these data inspectors and data policing and investigations, I'm not saying it's 100%, but you start being able to use because DeepSeek now became public. In case they breach, that would be a very bad picture out there. So
Okay.
your data is as safe as who is storing your data and how much of it are you revealing. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for that, Laryx. Um, okay, I can see there's a question here. How careful should we be when using AI, in the sense that we don't get too dependent on it to the extent we can't think for ourselves? Okay,
Yeah.
good question.
The reason why I'm smiling is that there is a research that is going on, and it said that ever since AI came, now human beings became, do I say redundant or less creative?
Yes.
Because, I mean, like, let's say, for example, you, Brenda, if you
Yeah.
had an idea and you wanted to write maybe, let's say, one paragraph, and
Mm-hmm.
midway, your thinking process ends in three sentences, right?
Yeah. Mm.
You'd typically go to ChatGPT to complete it for you, right?
Immediately. Yes.
Immediately. Yes.
Mm.
This is an interesting one.
Mhm.
So I'd say this. when it comes to using your prompts, okay, what are you trying to get out of it? Because creativity goes to as far as did you achieve what you need? Okay, like let's say I wanted to build a house, okay, and the end product is the house. Do I go to ChatGPT and tell me, hey, build me a house? Okay. So how creative do I want this house to be? There's just to an extent of how do I use the 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 AI to help me brainstorm my ideas. Now, it's a thin line because Brenda, I could tell you to go and use it to brainstorm, but I could not control you if you decide to use it to solve everything. You get my
Yes.
point?
Yeah.
Okay. So this question, I don't know how to really get the right answer, but I'd like to call in help from Susan or Mary. I find it quite, I
Mm.
find it's too open-ended and it's
Yes.
dependent on the person who is handling it. So let me pull in one of the guests. Let me just put them on board if you'd allow me,
Okay.
see what they can say about it. So I'll pull you in first, Susan. No, no. What do I put in? Okay, just a moment.
Mary.
Mary,
Okay.
yes, Susan just left a moment ago. Maybe she could put it in more context. Yes, Mary?
Hey, yes, thank you. I love this question because there's someone who asked me the same question. In their company, they are not allowed to use AI. And so she needed a second opinion on that. And my opinion on this is, for example, let's take an example of a doctor. There's a new disease like COVID that has come up, and what the doctor will do, the doctor can go to ChatGPT and probably come up with a new way of handling that new disease because it's a new disease. No one knows how to do about it. But for me, for example, if I have the symptoms and go to ChatGPT with those symptoms, I won't get so much out of it. The most I'll get is like Panadol, over the counter drugs. There's not much I could get. So AI does not like brain rot us. It helps us to be better. But then again, it depends with how you're using AI. If you're just copy pasting exactly what you're getting from ChatGPT and submitting it, well, garbage in, garbage out. But if you use it correctly for brainstorming, it improves your creativity. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Mary. Sorry, Brenda. Kibet just made my day. What? This is a
Yeah.
good one. Oh, Kibet. Oh, hats off, brother. Hats off.
Mm.
Back to you, Brenda.
Kibet, yes. Would you like to contribute? I'm seeing Susan is back.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But Kibet just said that judgment of creativity is on the eyes of the beholder. Yes.
I mean,
Susan,
okay, yes,
sorry.
go ahead, Susan.
Sorry, my internet had lagged off. What are we contributing towards?
The question was how careful should we be when we're using AI so that we don't get too dependent on it?
Oh, yeah, to the
Yes.
extent we don't think for
Yeah.
ourselves. I'd say even if it's like maybe drafting an email, you can give it like the steps, like have at least the first draft on your own. So you're like, I'm messaging so and so, this is what I'm saying, and then you can just tell it to use better English or something, but just don't go and tell it write an email to so and so. So I
Yeah.
think it's just trying to incorporate a touch of you. And then something Mary had said about the tone, she had mentioned maybe you're using an authoritative tone, make sure that's being maintained by AI. So I think that's all.
Okay.
Okay, Susan, sorry, Brenda, if I may just dissect this question a little before Kibet expounds on this statement she put. Where do you put the control? I mean, I know you've told me to use it to this extent so that I don't be able to make the AI make all the decisions, but who controls where I stop? You get my struggle, Susan. You're on mute.
Yeah, I get your struggle. Like, where is the control? I think it's
Yes.
just a personal decision, even for developers. The way you have AI can just write all your code. So where do you say no? I'm going to write code from my head. I think it's just there's even something I learned very interesting. Once AI has generated something, even if it's code or an email to somebody, how about you type it out? The moment you're not copy and pasting. So with code, you're writing it, you're typing it out line by line, but AI has generated. So in some sense, you're internalizing and understanding what it has generated. So you understand. I don't know if it's making sense, but it's just you to put that limit where you can copy and paste or you can type it out for you to internalize and get a feel of it.
Thank you, Susan. Back to you, Brenda.
Okay. Thank you, Susan, for that. Kibet, would you love to respond and give further on your statement of judgment of creativity is on the eyes of the beholder? How we move? Okay. I think we can maybe continue. So, Laryx, any other ethical concern? Okay, I can see Kibet has said he is done. All right. So, any other ethical concern that you have about AI that you'd like to mention here?
Yeah, well, I think I really like what all the speakers have contributed. That it when it
Yes.
comes to ethical decision, it boils down to you. There is a very good example that the founder of Khan Academy says. He says that technology, okay, not quote to quote, I'll just paraphrase. Technology brings out the you who is you, okay? Like it's an expression of who is Brenda, who is Laryx. For example, whoever invented a kitchen knife, the intention was for it to be able to cut blunt objects, right? But then it's the same kitchen knife that can be used to commit murder, okay, and also pierce people. So it's the same thing with technology. If my intention is good, it will be generate some good outcome. If my intention is bad, the opposite applies. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Laryx, for that. I think I have really learned a lot from all the speakers, especially with the different tools for AI that I didn't actually know about. And this has been a great session.